As an amateur landscape photographer, I love shooting New York City, not only because it is one of the most photogenic cities in the world, with its unique buildings, historic bridges, and an epic skyline, but also because it is a city in which I worked for over 20 years. Over the time, I have taken thousands of pictures of the city, from within and from without. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of my most favorite photos. These first two images of Manhattan were taken across the Hudson River on the New Jersey side on the same day. I remember it was late in the afternoon, and a big storm seemed on the way. Clouds in the sky were low, but were flying fast. To demonstrate the power of the clouds, I used long exposures. In the pictures, the island of Manhattan seems so small under the massive clouds, which was exactly the effect I wanted to achieve using a wide-angle lens. This image of downtown Manhattan was also taken across the Hudson River. The sun was setting. The skyscrapers were colorfully shiny. What I like the most about this picture are the clouds which were partially covering the One World Trade Center, the highest building in New York City and the whole country. I shot this image of Midtown Manhattan in Hoboken, New Jersey, just a couple of days ago now, at the so-called blue hour. The sun had just set, and the sky was beautifully blue. One of the features that I like about this image was the lamp, which casts a shadow like a fan on the ground. I deliberately put the lamp very close in the foreground so that it is emphasized, because it is a very strong foreground interest. I also like the different layers of colors in this image. The composition of this image was almost the same as the previous one, but was taken on a different day. I like this image more than the previous one. In fact, it is one of the best images that I took of New York City. What makes it outstanding are the colors. It was a rainy day. The clouds in the sky and the moisture in the air were reflecting the setting sun. The whole sky appears pink. Honestly, very seldom do I see New York City in such beautiful colors. By the way, the cluster of high buildings in the background are new developments on the west side of Manhattan, collectively called Hudson Yards. It is now a new tourist attraction. What I like about this picture of downtown Manhattan is the composition. The curvy bridge and the footpaths serve the purpose of a leading line, taking your eyesight to the tallest building in the background, the One World Trade Center. The skyscrapers in the setting sun were shining with colors. The inclusion of the tree branches in the foreground also contributes to the composition, thus avoiding too much boring open space on the top of the image. This is another long exposure of downtown Manhattan, taken across the East River on Brooklyn side. What I like about it is the spatial, surreal effect created by the long exposure. It looks as if all the skyscrapers were floating on the water. This shot of the very famous Brooklyn Bridge was also taken from across the East River. The tallest building in the background is the One World Trade Center. By the way, when it was opened in 1883, The Brooklyn Bridge was the first steel suspension bridge in the world and the longest one at the time. This is another image of the Brooklyn Bridge. Unlike the previous one, I shot this image in downtown Manhattan. In the background is the Manhattan Bridge. New York City is well known for many iconic buildings. The Empire State Building is definitely one of them. Honestly, this is not the best image I took of the Empire State Building. What is special about this picture is its color. Even more special is the reflection of the color of lights in the sky above the building. The air was full of moisture because it was a very misty night. By the way, for those of you who don't know, the Empire State Building changes the light of its lights to commemorate various events and holidays. This is another iconic building in New York City, and it is called the Flatiron Building, located on the 6th Avenue and 22nd Street. Built in 1902, it has become a landmark of New York City, instantly recognizable. The triangular shape makes it look like an iron, hence the Flatiron Building. This is the main concourse of Grand Central Terminal on the 42nd Street, another iconic building. Built over 100 years ago, it is a monumental space with its unique features, such as the vaulted ceiling painted with celestial mural. The clock at the center of the concourse is also an iconic feature. Everyone who has been to Grand Central Terminal will remember this clock. It is said to be accurate to within 1 second every 20 billion years. I took this picture using my iPhone's extra wide-angle lens, and the effect is dramatic. The place is called the Oculus, a transportation hub located at the World Trade Center in downtown Manhattan, a newly added architectural landmark in New York City. I don't think I'm good at street photography. This image and the following ones were my attempts at doing street photography in New York City. The reason why I include these images in this video is to show you the unique features and special life of New York City.